All right, well, with that out of the way now, time to close out of league. But so let's go down the list. So Gen.G, they were going favorites. They were favorites going into the tournament. Um, everyone thought they were gonna win it or at least make it to grand finals. And the performance they gave in the group stage, it was not pretty. Let's pull it up. Worlds 2025. If I'm not remembering, I don't think they had like a very convincing group stage. Yes, so they won against PSG, they lost against AL, and they won against T1 and Top Esports. And I wasn't really I couldn't really see their strength off this, so I believe that they weren't strong going into it, and that made me pretty scared when I already saw it. Plus, okay, so Gen.G versus HLE, that was a really hype game. I feel like they both teams played at their very best, or kind of their very best. I feel like I still saw some mistakes, but from a spectator viewpoint, it was a really good game. Now, against Gen.G versus KT, that was horrible. Gen.G were playing horrible. I feel like what I saw was not Gen.G. It was just them, all of them playing at their worst. I can't think of a single person who played well that game. Like Doro, no. Ruler, no. Chovy, no. Canyon, no. Keen, maybe. I think Keen played fine, but KT was just better than them at that point. It's like how happened in summer of playoffs where KT beat Gen.G in a 5-game series, but this didn't even go to 5 games. So for Gen.G, I'd say I would give them subpar. I would say that was a subpar performance from them. I'm really disappointed in them, so I'll just give them that rating. Hanwha Life, I feel like they had a very okay. So it was the same thing as Gen.G. They lost AL. Kind of surprising that they lost AL. I think everyone thought AL was going to lose to Hanwha Life. Then they played PSG. Wow, that's actually so sad. PSG had to play Gen.G and Hanwha Life. 100 Thieves, yeah, they're never beating 100 Thieves. And CFO. CFO, if I'm not wrong, that was a pretty good game. I think it went to where's the match history? Main event. It went to 2-1, right? If I'm not wrong. No, it went to 2-0. Oh man, okay. But yeah, the group stage wasn't that impressive, so we couldn't really get to see their power. And then they got knocked out to Gen.G in the quarterfinals, which was kind of depressing. I feel like they could have made semis if they got any other opponent. They would have made semis, I believe, because I mean, who? Yeah, they would have made semis because I feel like G2, TS, KT, TFO they would have beaten. But yeah, they showed a pretty. It was Peanuts' last dance. It was pretty sad. I loved it. I loved how they played. Zeka kind of in the quarterfinals. Zeka, I was kind of he didn't play that well, but when he got his assassin champions, I feel like that was amazing for him. Who else was on? Zeus was playing fine, if I'm not wrong. This was 3 weeks ago, so my memory is not that well. So Peanut played amazing in that game. All 4 games he was trying to win. Viper and Delight actually played fine. So or Viper and Delight actually played at their very best. I'm not sure about Delight, but in my opinion, I'd give them an average. Imagine it's unlucky that they had to play against Gen.G and on their off team. KT Godly. Now, why am I giving KT Godly? Well, the group stage wasn't that bad because they had really easy opponents. They had MKOI, but the way they came back from MKOI was just MKOI throwing. But it was pretty good that they were able to BDD Shockwave against 3 members, I think, on MKOI was what turned the lead. So I think that was really impressive. I was really sad because I was rooting for MKOI, and it was so close, but it's unlucky. Team Secret, it was pretty close actually. I wasn't expecting the VCS to go pretty even with them until I think it was one fight during one of the Dragons, and then the game just got blew open from there. So yeah, they showed a pretty good performance. Now, Top Esports, that was just a stomp. I'm so sorry I had to watch that. That was horrible. Top Esports is horrible. But for the quarterfinals, they had a really convincing performance against CFO. Everyone played well, especially BDD played really well. Cuz played well, and Peter. Peter was actually playing amazing in this game. His his Nautilus, I think in game 2, and where he got the solo kill on Hanq was actually incredible. So I believe they played pretty well this game, 5 games. They were stomping them. There's no CFO were on an off day that day. I could not. They were not doing anything that game. Everyone's playing so bad. I think Rest played really well actually, but everyone else was playing subpar. Gen.G, oh, I feel so bad for him. He kept getting invaded in his jungle, and that's really unlucky for him. But now KT versus Gen.G, that was just peak cinema. Everyone, Gen.G was playing so bad that KT actually winning that showcased a lot. Showed BDD outperforming them, BDD and the Cuz duo working well. And then, BDD actually got a solo kill on Chovy. So I'd say that was really well played from them. Now, it was really depressing that they lost to T1 in the finals. They were 2-1 up, but then T1's cursive, or T1 always comes back from 2-1s. Like, I feel like this has happened so many times. For example, like 2022 T1 versus DRX, T1 was down. No, they were actually up 2-1. Never mind. Sorry. But let's say last year they were down at MSI. They were down against AL, but then they pushed it back, and then it's just unlucky for KT. But KT played really well this tournament. Perfect. It playing Rek'Sai and baiting everyone, and Peter on Nico. It was actually a really good game. And Cuz on Mundo. BDD was actually playing so well. I believe he picked the Mel into Faker, and that actually secured them a game. I feel like Dom underperformed this game, which is kind of unlucky. I don't think Dom has had that great of a tournament, so it's really unlucky. But I think 4 of the 5 players played really well, and I would say that's a godly, because we weren't expecting anything going for KT. We were not excited. No one was expecting them to win, because they were basically our 4th seed, but they beat Gen.G, so they were our 3rd seed. But it's really surprising that the performance they given and how they pushed their way to the finals. So I'd say I give them an S tier. Now T1, nothing else to say. I feel like T1 had a very weak group stage, I believe. Losing to CFO and Gen.G. I feel like they had a very lucky draw with FlyQuest, 100 Thieves, and MKOI having to beat only Western teams to get out. But they didn't play that bad. I think Owner was sick for most of it, so that caused some problems. They destroyed FlyQuest. CFO, they seemed really out of sync. That's probably because Owner was sick. Gen.G, that was a draft canyon, so I can't really blame the players for the draft that the T1's head coach of Coma and Tom, I think, did for them. That was just the coach's fault. They could not do anything that game. Versus 100 Thieves, that was pretty close, actually. Even though it was a 2-0, I feel like 100 Thieves, T1 was struggling against 100 Thieves. Against MKOI, they played horrible against MKOI. I am actually everyone played so bad against MKOI. Even MKOI played horrible against MKOI. But I cannot excuse the fact that besides Faker, everyone else was just running it down. Especially Gumayushi. Even though Gumayushi won World's Finals MVP, this guy did so many bad. I still vividly remember a play where he TP'd into blue side tri-bush near Dragon when the entire team, MKOI's entire team was there, and he saw it. But then he gave over so many kills. He also gave away a kill mid, but I'd say they had a pretty mediocre main stage. Against IG, that was actually really good. IG and T1 both played real well. I feel like it could have gone to 5 games if if the Shy didn't, did that Rek'Sai play at mid. But play-ins, they played well. Group stage, they played mediocre. Now, in knockout stage, I don't know what it is, but Faker just came alive. Everyone on T1 came alive. Coming back from a 2-1 from AL and pushing it to 5 games, and then they beat AL. That was really good. It was really close, actually, too. If Faker didn't pick Mel, I believe, he picked Mel in Game 5, I think T1 would have lost. Now, semifinals, it was against Top Esports. Top Esports is horrible, so they just destroyed them. T1 weren't even playing good. They were just, TES were just playing so bad. Now, KT, they were playing on fire. They had, T1 were just so much better. The game just happened, but I just don't remember what happened. But game one, they came back from a lead from KT, which was actually surprising. Their team fighting was so good in getting rid of Wukong. Every dragon, they were aiming for Cuz. Once they got rid of Cuz, the game was just won. Game 2 and Game 3, they struggled. It was nothing they could do. But Game 4, that was a stomp. Because I knew once I saw Nocturne get knocked down for 2-1 on Game 4, I just knew that it was going to go to Silverscapes. Now, that last draft was a draft diff. Because I couldn't really see what KT was going for, but T1, I saw that they were going for like a heavy dive oriented with Camille, Galio. I think it wasn't Jarvan, but that was really well. So, it was a great tournament. I won't say godly like KT because they definitely had their ups and downs. Now, this video's getting pretty long, so I'm gonna start speeding it up. So, BLG, I'm putting horrible. Do I really need to explain why they were playing horrible? They didn't even make they didn't even make knockout stage. So that says a lot for. Not only did they lose 100 Thieves, but they also lost to G2 and Top Esports. Now, the reason why I rate them horribly is I don't know what they were doing. I've seen clips of Doinby just saying I'm gonna kill on, and that's so funny. But they played so bad. Let me just talk about their roster though. They can't decide on who to start in the jungle. It's not like with CFO where they each have like varying advantages and disadvantages. Where I think Rest plays the carry top laners, and then what's the other guy's name? I'm sorry, I'm blanking right now. What's his name? Driver plays the tanks, I think. So it's not like that. They just cannot decide who to play in the jungle. Beichuan was horrible. In the regular season, this guy was horrible. Shadow actually carried them to their first first title for the. He carried them to the first title, and so I thought Shadow was gonna play for all of it, but nope, I was wrong. In game 1 against 100 Thieves, they subbed in Beichuan, and that was just the worst mistake they did because they lost. And I thought they learned from a mistake after winning against Fnatic, where Shadow they played fine, I guess. But then now against G2, oh my gosh, I don't know what happened against G2. They had a lead and they just threw it somehow. I forgot what happened, but I was so mad. Vivo keyed. It was fine. Both teams played horribly. Teams played horribly. I think actually Bin, Beichuan, Shadow, Elk, and On played so bad. I think Knight was actually the only one who played semi-good. I don't think he even played perfect. He played semi-good. And that's the Top Esports. Jackie Love was just having not Jackie Love. Never mind. Jackie Love got caught so many times, so I'm not even going to count it. But all I want to say is that they were horrible. They couldn't make out of knockouts, and they lost to they lost to 2 Western teams, and they won against 2 Western teams, and they lost to an LPL team. China's #1 seed should not be losing to Western teams. That's just something I'm saying. AL, I feel like they had a amazing performance. I can't say flawless because they lost, but beating HLE, beating Gen.G, and beating CFO. All 3 of these teams are strong, I would say. CFO is a little weaker, but I would say they're all strong opponents. Now, that was actually impressive that they were able to beat Hanwha Life, Gen.G, and CFO. So that was I can't really just elaborate more on that because I don't have much knowledge of the games that happened because it was a long time ago. Now against T1, I feel like they played their best. Besides Hope, I'll say they had a great tournament. Now because I'm thinking of Hope, everyone else played fine. Flandre actually was the carry for AL, if I'm not wrong, and Tarzan and Shanks played very well, and their support of I had them on the support Kale. They all played fine besides Hope. I'd say Hope had one of the worst tournaments I've seen, aside from Worlds 2022, where they lost to T1 also. But I'd say they have a great performance, playing very well, nearly beating T1. So I'd say that I give them the same ranking as T1. What's the time? 14 minutes. All right. So now for top esports, I can't really give them horrible because they didn't play as bad as BOG, but I would say they played subpar. Actually, I can't give anyone's horrible. BOG actually played so bad. So I think BOG's gonna be the worst team for now. Maybe I'll find someone else. Now, top esports. Yeah, I saw top esports played worse. Yes, worse than Gen.G. I feel like Gen.G had a better esports. So let's see how they did against to get out. So they won against G2. They won against the Hursties. They lost to KT and they lost to Gen.G. This was pretty unlucky, but the way they lost to KT was depressing. They did not. I gotta look at the Hoopoo ratings, but I've heard so many devious things about Jackie Love like inting, and it was right. Jackie Love inted both these games. Now, I forget what happened. A lot of these are gonna be a lot. Forget what happened, but I'm gonna assume Jackie Love. I know, no, Jackie Love threw so many of these. I just know it because I remember the top esports versus BLG. Like the only reason they got a game was because BLG got a game was because Jackie Love threw it. Now, so I'd say they played pretty fine. 369, plays. He always goes even. Who's their jungler? Kanavi always plays fine. Cream, he's pretty young, so I feel like he struggled a little bit. And their support is, who was their support? It was Hong. Hong played horrible. So they had a pretty weak Swiss stage performance, but they had a pretty convincing win over G2. Jackie Love went deathless in all the games he won, which is actually unheard of. So I'd say they played pretty well in this tournament, or this game against G2, which is really unlucky. Now, against T1, I cannot express how mad I am at everyone besides 369. 369 played so well because he went even and didn't throw his throw and get caught. He played the best as he could. Now, everyone else on the team played so bad. Words can't even describe it. Kanavi, I remember his Kiana game. His Kiana game, he literally stole every kill from his carries, from Cream and Jackie Love, from getting them fed. And it was just so bad, dude. He stole every kill of Kiana and didn't even give it to Cream and Jackie Love. Like, that Kiana is strong, but Kiana doesn't even need it. You need your carries. You can't 1v9 a game on Kiana, dude. Now, that was one of the games. Now, Jackie Love and Hong, oh my gosh, these guys actually threw it down the drain so hard that Now, yeah, I'll give them a C. IG, they've only played one game, but I was pretty impressed with their performance against T1. So against T1, I thought Rookie was gonna be the what's it called, liability this game, but Rookie was actually the carry this game. Gala, Rookie, and Wei played so well, while the Shy and Mako had subpar. The Shy just made so many bad plays. It was actually, and then I saw him block Varus top, and I was like, oh, this is not gonna go well. Wei had an amazing tournament. His Kiana was actually very influential around the map. Rookie, in every single game, he played so well against Faker. It was actually kind of nuts. I wish I could see the match, I think. Can I see the match? But he played so well. I think he actually played better than Faker, but Faker just had better shot calling. Gala, I don't even think they would have gotten a game off of T1 if it wasn't for Gala. Gala played, especially in that Caitlyn game, he played perfectly. Mako, he played pretty well, helping even on Nautilus when he got the lead on for Rookie. I remember his Nautilus and getting a kill on Faker. Now, if it wasn't for Owner, actually, never mind. They just got diffed. But because T1's team fighting, that was just unlucky for them. Well, this video is pretty long, but I'd say they had a pretty average performance. I want to give them a great performance, but they've only played like what 4 games because they didn't even make the world. So I'll give it to average. I'm biased. I'm a Shy fan. I'm a Gala fan. I love them. So, but I'm gonna keep it at B because they showed great results. They showed it. They showed that if they were at Worlds, they would show that they were a strong team and could contend the Worlds title. CFL, I feel like they had a very, very great showing. in the Swiss stage. Very convincing win over Fnatic. Very convincing win over T1. An unlucky loss against AL. They went to 2-1. A very unlucky game against Hanwha Life. And a very, very lucky game against FlyQuest. FlyQuest played so bad. And CFO didn't even play that well. It's just FlyQuest playing bad. Because I think they were just mental boom. So to hurry this video up a little bit, there's one more. There's one more match at the watch. Now against KT and CFO, everyone just mental boom. I don't know what it was. Hongq played so bad. I remember his Hwei game, and every game he averaged more than 5 deaths, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Because it was just so. I didn't even notice how they played. Like, I wish I could see the scoreboard, but his Azir, Aurora, and Hwei, I could not see anything in it. There's nothing. I couldn't see him playing. He didn't play well on any of the picks. But yeah, I think they just had a very underwhelming performance against them. Gen.G got diffed so hard, but it wasn't his fault. He didn't really make any bad plays. It was just KT taking advantage of them because they were invading their jungle. So it was very unlucky. I'd say they played a great tournament, I feel like. But I can't really give them a great tournament when they did so bad in quarters, so I'll just give them the average. It's not subpar because we saw the potential in the team. PSG, I feel like they played really bad, but I think they played subpar because some of the games I saw, even though they went 0-3, some of the Gen.G was really unlucky. Hanwha Life, it was pretty bad too. But Vivo Kid, in the game they won against Vivo Kid because the match went 2-1. I feel like they played really well. In the game they won. In the games they lost, they played horrible. But Karsa, it gave me hope, like how amazing he is as a person or as a player. I think this is his last year, if I'm not wrong. I just believe so. But it was pretty subpar performance. We all thought, well, actually no one thought they were gonna make it out because they had Maple. We haven't seen Maple in so long. But I feel like they showed what you would expect of them. So I would say maybe average or subpar. I'll say subpar because it wasn't really that great of them. Yeah, I'll give them subpar. Team Secret, I feel like they had a very great performance. Even though they only won one game, their win against Vivo Kid showcased who they are as a team. They're a young superstar team where they want to fight. They showed a great game against Vivo Kid, which is the game they won. Against KT, they showed that they could make it. They should lane against them until the mid game. The mid game and late game they just lost. Against these Secret Whales, they got out macroed, which is unlucky. And against MKOI, they showed a very great game against MKOI in game 1. Now game 2 and game 3, I feel like JoJo just carried so hard out of them, but they showed their identity as a team. So I feel like they had a very good performance. I'd say good is average, so very good performance. G2, I'd say they had a average performance too. I wasn't really convinced with the games they won. They had a very that was not close. It was actually like a stomp. They got stomped by Top Esports. They had to eliminate MKOI. They had a very convincing win against the BLG, but that's because BLG was playing. That was not BLG. That was like a solo queue team. And I wasn't really impressed by FlyQuest game. In the first 2 games, like, it wasn't really convincing that they should make it to the knockout stage. And then the last game, if it wasn't for that Caps shockwave, I think Caps, if it wasn't for Caps this entire tournament played so well. He tried his best to carry the team. If it wasn't for that Caps shockwave, I don't think G2 would have made it to quick knockouts. But I'd say they had a very subpar or average. We couldn't really tell a lot about how strong they were in the Swiss stage because they were making a lot of mistakes. But in the knockout stage, I could see how they were doing. They played really well against Top Esports. Was because I thought G2 was going to win, but then because I thought Top Esports was going to choke. But this is the one game they don't choke. This is the one game they actually win. Like Top Esports showed an actually very great game against G2. So, and Lebrov played pretty bad. Hansama tried his best. I feel like Hansama actually played really well this game. Caps was trying to carry so hard. Skumon, I feel like he played really well, if I'm not wrong. I think they locked in Mundo jungle, and that gave that kind of showed how Mundo jungle is gonna be used, and yeah, popularized it for later. And I think Broken Blade actually had a very weak tournament this time. And so, with my opinions for this, I would say they have a average performance, or very average, because they had two rookies, not two rookies, but two new players, Labrov and Skumon. So I'd say that I give them an average. Now for Koi, Koi, I would say played a very. I was really impressed by them. I wasn't really thinking they were gonna go far in the tournament. They had a very good showing against KT until they threw it, and then I just got so mad. So I'd say that was pretty bad for them. They played against G2. That was really unlucky of them. Caps tried to, I think it was JoJo Pun tried to carry, but everyone was inting on MKoi. They had to eliminate Fnatic. It was actually close. This is actually concerning that the game was close. That it was a 2-1. Because they threw it in game 1, I think. Against Team Secret, it was also really weak. And against T1, okay, never mind. They had a very subpar. Okay, never mind. Now I'm thinking through it and talking about it. Yeah, they played super bad. Fnatic, oh, they played horrible. Oh my gosh, Fnatic losing to CFO, losing to a weakened BLG, and losing to MKoi. That's a very. It's just. They were just so weak this tournament. I can't. Poe played fine, but I don't know what it is. Why is it that Oscar and Razork, an upset, play so bad at internationals? When they played against Carmine Corp to qualify for Worlds, I know you guys saw that. Carmine Corp versus Fnatic. Carmine Corp or Fnatic played so well against Carmine Corp. Oscar Inen was not even Oscar Inen. I didn't even know who that was. That was someone else possessing Oscar Inen. Because the Oscar Inen I know is the one at Worlds where he just starts inting. He's like Doran, but Doran's better than him. So that's what I see. So I think they had a very horrible performance. I'm not even gonna talk any more longer about it. But I'm gonna put them above BLG because BLG played even worse. FlyQuest, I feel like they had a very subpar. I want to say horrible, but they played fine against. They got stomped by T1. They played methodical. They played how do you expect against VOD. That was their identity. I saw their identity of playing like even though we lose in lane, we out macro them and out team fight them. That's what I saw. And in versus Team Secrets, I saw that as well. Now G2, I mean it was pretty bad. Just like how I said of G2 and Fly, I feel like they both played both teams played really bad or very subpar to what we've seen them. And versus CFO, that was just horrible. So I'd say they had a CFO that was horrible. I actually can't believe they mental it so hard. I didn't even know who I was watching. So I give them a subpar. Now only two more teams. This video's reaching 30 minutes, which is not bad. I don't know if you guys are enjoying this. I just wanted to put my opinion of how well I think each team played. My description of them is not really that well because it's my first video on tier listing, and give me your guys' opinions on how these teams played, and if you guys agree or disagree with any of my opinions. Yeah, but my explanation is pretty bad. But Vivo Kid, I feel like they had a pretty good performance. Because CBLOL, they're not really considered good compared to the Eastern teams. But from what I saw, they got stomped in Team Secrets. I'll give them that. But against FlyQuest, they also got stomped, but that was unlucky. But against PSG, they played really well. Trimby was playing well. Miru was playing well, and Mortius, because I like the AD carry Mortius. Yeah. I feel like everyone against PSG played really well. I'd say, yeah, Trimby carried so hard. I think I loved his Alistar where he got 3-man knockup, and Miru carried and gapped Maple, which is incredible, and I really like that. So I feel like they played a really average tournament, a really good tournament actually. So yeah, I don't have much to say. I'm really impressed by them. Oh, I haven't talked about BLG. Yeah, it was really unlucky that they lost to BOG. I feel like they could have won if it was really close. I feel like it was just they were so close. They got backdoored by Bin. They made a lot of mistakes, but I feel like they're a really strong team. But I've heard Trimby's going back to Europe, so they're losing a great support. So, but they had a really great tournament. Good tournament. So, yeah. Now for the last team, 100 Thieves. Now there's a storyline of 100 Thieves last dance or last journey. So I was following this narrative, and now the hopium we've got from 100 Thieves versus VLG, the fact that they won, that was actually really convincing too. And really convincing because they all played so bad. Dokla just solo killed Bin, and it was actually hilarious how I saw that. And they ended it. They played really well. They played their style. So it was a really good game. Top Esports, they got stomped. Yeah, something about unlucky. Nothing really else to say. They had to also draw Hanwha Life, which is also really unlucky. So yeah, that was great. It was so unlucky that they had to draw Hanwha Life. But yeah, you would expect how to go. Oh my gosh, everyone just got one. I just remembered. Zeus on Sion, everyone got one shot. I remember. Like, it was like one Q and one auto attack, and then I think it was Quid. Quid got one shot. It was either Quid or FBI that got one shot. It was actually so funny to watch. Against T1, I feel like they had a very great performance against T1, considering they were an NA team. It wasn't good by any teams, but I feel like it wasn't good considered as like an Easter team if you were an Easter team. But as 100 Thieves, I feel like they played really well. Dokla defended a dive. It was pretty even. Each fight was actually a bloodbath. It wasn't until I feel like it could have gone to game 3 if Faker. I know you guys know Faker Talia near Baron. Faker Talia near Baron. Everyone was jumping on to Faker, and then Faker EW'd, and then Zonias, and that just turned the game in their favor. So I feel like they had a really good tournament. So yeah, nothing else to say. That's my turn. This is my tier list of how I believe each team played. Now let me reorder. So KT, they had no one expected them to make it finals. It's like kind of Weibo like, but Weibo didn't choke in finals. T1 played great, even though they had a weak Swiss stage. I know some of you guys are gonna be mad that I put T1 not in S, but if you guys watch the games, I feel like they weren't as convincing, and it didn't look like T1 in some of the games, you know. AL played great. Nothing much to say. Hanwha Life played all right. IG played all right. These guys all played at their level. They all showcased their identity and how they play. Maybe not G2, but they did showcase their play in quarterfinals. So yeah. This video is getting really long actually. So, Vivo Keyed, they played fine. 100 Thieves, they played fine, and I'm gonna miss 100 Thieves in the LCS next year. Gen.G played subpar. Top Esports played horrible. PSG played. I actually think. Now, okay. Yeah, Top Esports is down here. Gen.G is definitely at the top. FlyQuest actually played. I think they had a very weak tournament, more weak tournament than MKOI, and Fnatic and BLG at the bottom. So yeah, that's nothing else to say. And tell me if you guys enjoy this type of content. I don't know who's gonna be watching this, so yeah. Thanks for watching.